So let's say you're on your way to work, and you're getting in your car, and all of a sudden, once you put your key in, you figure out that it's dead. And what are you gonna do about this problem? So you pop the hood, because you want to inspect the engine. So you fiddle around with the latch, then you finally get it to open, then you put the holder up, then you inspect the engine for anything that's obviously wrong. Then you see that the battery terminal looks a little loose, so it's probably that. So you give it a good tightening, making sure it's tight, and that you're not hitting the other side of the battery with any contact with metal, or that will create a bad explosion. So you make sure it's all tight, then you check both terminals, and it's good. So then you figure out that it's still dead. So now, you've got your jumper cables, and you throw them at the car. This might not work the first time. It might not even work the second time. But it's never gonna work. So you actually figure out that you need to take the jumper cables out. So you throw that, and you let them sit there. So then you go over to your charged vehicle, get in, drive it up to the dead vehicle, making sure you don't hit either vehicle against each other. Then you pop the hood on your charging vehicle, lifting it up. Some vehicles don't have a holder, they just have hydraulics that keep it up. Then you check out your battery, make sure it's a good battery. Then you take your jumper cables, making sure that they won't hit each other. You put one onto a piece of rubber or plastic on the dead car. Then you untangle the cables, then put them on the charged car. But you gotta make sure you put positive to positive and negative to negative. The negative is on this vehicle is on the left. So you put negative first, then positive, making sure it's a strong connection and that they don't fall off. Then you take the other side of the jumper cables and put them on the battery of the dead car. This is even more important that you don't let them hit each other, and that they go on the correct terminals. Negative to negative, positive to positive. Now that you've got a strong connection, you let the cars charge for a little bit. But you don't want to step over the cable, or that will create something bad. So you walk around your vehicle and get in where it's nice and warm. So, because this is going to be a long wait, because this battery seems to be very dead. Then you get out of your vehicle, but you don't step over. That's a bad idea. You walk around the other vehicle and walk in, but then you realize that you use one set of keys, and then you go get the spare key, making sure not to drop it, but you do. But that's all fine. Then you try to turn the car on, and it's still dead. So you walk over to your charging vehicle, look for the throttle cables, and pull them away from the car, collect gas into the engine to rev it up so more energy can flow through the battery. Then you walk over to the other vehicle, try to turn it on again, and voila, it's all charged. Then you check out, make sure the lights and the computer are all working now. And they seem to be, so you're all set. But leave it on. Then you disconnect the jumping cables. This is what happens when they touch. It's just a big spark. You don't want that to hit fuel. Do not do this at home. Then you disconnect it from the other battery, making sure not to hit each other. Then you tap them to to make sure there's no electricity in the system. Then you've got to put them nice and neatly back into the bag. Very neat. Then you put them back in your vehicle for the next time you got to save some person going out to work with a dead vehicle. Then you want to put your hood down because you can't drive with like that. Then put the other hood down. Move the charging vehicle out of the way. Then you've got a charged vehicle and you're ready to go. But now let's say your car's in a parking lot and it's dead. What are you gonna do? There's no way to get to the front with your charging vehicle. So, problem solved. You're gonna wanna put the dead vehicle into neutral by putting the key in and putting it into running position without starting the vehicle, because it won't start. N is for neutral. Then you're going to want to try to push the car out of the way with your strong strength because you're a worker. But if you're going uphill, this probably won't work and you'll probably end up falling on your butt. But don't fear, there's other ways. So you want to go to your tool shed and find chains, not rope. Rope's bad. Then you figure out that your chains are in your truck, and you're going to want to back up your truck to the dead vehicle so the hitches are aligned. Just like that. You want to take your chain, have a nice knot on the pulling vehicle, one that won't break. Then you're going to want to go halfway through the chain and put it on the other vehicle and have some good loops around that hitch. Then you're going to want to take the other hook on the other side and hook it back to the pulling vehicle. On bigger jobs, you're going to want to cover this with a tarp or a blanket so it doesn't break the windows, but there's no strain on this job. Then you're going to want to slowly go forward without snagging it. Then you're all good. You can pull your vehicle up and make sure the batteries are as close as possible to each other so your short cables can work.